How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the Black History Museum in DC, which is part of the Smithsonian releasing a study guide of sorts on their website about quote unquote whiteness in America. Now, they define whiteness as white people and their customs, culture, and beliefs being set as the standard in America for all other groups to measure up to. And what I mean by other groups is non-white groups, minority groups. And if they can't measure up to it, then they're seen as inferior or abnormal. Now, what that means, to translate it right quick, is if you are a non-white person, don't assimilate because that's racist. That's what I hear from that. That's what's going on. They're saying that whiteness is what everybody knows as being an American. That's what's going on. And if I'm wrong, then why was there a quote from Toni Morrison right up under that where it says, in this country, American means white. Everyone else gets a hyphen. Okay, so you're referring to Asian Americans, Hispanic. Like me, I don't use the hyphen. I don't use African American or nothing like that. I'm an American, period. Don't try to marginalize me, put me over to the corner. No, I'm an American. I'm black, obviously, but I'm an American, period. That's all there is to it. But I digress. There's an actual pretty big paper, a pretty big report they did. If you want to read it, I'll link to it in the box. But today there's an infographic that got released on the internet that kind of got me a little bit upset, a little bit triggered. We're going to focus on that right now because in the infographic, they list all of the categories of quote unquote whiteness in America, which ain't nothing but just being an American, things that actually work, things that make this country the best country on planet Earth, things that everybody should aspire to be like for the most part. There's also some insults thrown in there, some untrue things thrown in there. Let's go ahead and get into it and break it on down, shall we? And you see what it says right here, talking about race, aspects and assumptions of whiteness and white culture in the United States. I mean, you talking about American culture? That's really what it is. So we'll get into it. Rugged individualism. The individual is the primary unit. Self-reliance, independence and autonomy, high value and reward. Individuals assumed to be in control of their environment. You get what you deserve. Now, what's wrong with that? I don't really see how that's actually a bad thing. Why must that be relegated to just white people? Why can't that be something that everybody all over the world, regardless of where they are, uses? What's the big deal? Because at the end of the day, it's all about what you can do. Now, of course, you're going to, work with people at times, but really, when it's all said and done, it's up to you to chart your life for yourself. Okay. And I've seen that in pro-black movements, really. People like Nation of the Gods and the Earth, Nation of Islam, they break it down. ISLAM, I, self, Lord, and master. What's that right there? Regular individualism. So how is this particular thing just a white thing or even an American thing? This should just be a general human trait that we all abide by because it just kind of makes sense. People that are against individualism, in my humble opinion, want communism, but we'll keep on moving. Family structure. Here's a good one. The nuclear family, father, mother, 2.3 children is the ideal social unit. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with having the mom and the dad? Okay. Like, that's been the thing since the beginning of time, way before there was even a thing called white culture or America. That's always been the norm all throughout the world. Why is it a bad thing? Husband is a breadwinner, head of household. Again, nothing wrong with that. It's in the Bible too. Wife is a homemaker and subordinate to the husband. Again, nothing wrong with that. Everybody knows it. Children should have own rooms, be independent. And nothing wrong with that either, because if you can't have your own room, you want to have some kind of level of independence because you're going to need it once you get out there in the world. Okay, it's weird because I can read from this. They want to have the woman be independent, do whatever she wants to do, but they are against the kids being independent. I can't tell if they think it's just things that are good or bad or just part of white culture. The way they present it in the article is if white culture is not really good or it's just exclusive to white people, and if you can't measure up to this and you're seen as bad and as racist, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. But let's keep on going. Emphasis on scientific method, objective, rational, linear thinking, cause and effect relationships, quantitative emphasis. Again, ain't nothing wrong with that. You're talking about if-then statements. If I stand in the road, I might get hit by a car. I mean, that's just kind of basic common sense right there. That's how I think. I think really objective, really rational, really logical. I mean, that's just called using your brain. This is real basic stuff. Again, not just exclusive to white people or white culture. That's a general human trait that people should have. History, based on Northern European immigrants' experience in the United States, heavy focus on the British Empire, the primacy of Western, Greek, Roman, and Judeo-Christian tradition. Again, what's wrong with that? We live in America. I mean, who founded the country? Let's just be honest. Who founded the country? And what do I speak right now? I'm speaking English. So the British Empire, what did they speak? England, English. What's the big deal? And like I said, if it works, then it works. It ain't nothing really else to it. Now, as far as history being based on Northern European immigrant experience, like, what does that really mean? You're talking about in history books? I'm not really understanding what you mean by that, whoever wrote this. And you know what? I'm going to pause right here for a moment. I can guarantee you that most of this website was developed, created, written by white people, talking about how bad or how, you don't have to adhere to white culture if you don't want to, okay? There were some other names named in here. You're talking about, I think her name was Robin DiAngelo. She did a TED talk about whiteness. Another lady, Peggy McIntosh, wrote books about whiteness, trying to like speak negatively about it. There's also Martin Luther King, Sean King. People like that have been speaking this kind of way. And it's like, what is the purpose? Do you not want non-whites to adhere to these things and to advance their life in a positive way? I'm trying to figure out what's going on, but we'll keep on going. Religion. Christianity is the norm. Anything other than Judeo-Christian tradition is foreign. No tolerance for deviation from single God concept. I mean, that's not really true. If you are a Christian, that's your religion. That's what you're going to believe in. If someone tries to convert you, you might not really be down for it. But at the end of the day, you're not really trying to, bother anybody else. The issue comes when you have Islam say that you can't be Christian, that you can't be this, or people try to attack your Christianity. If you're a Christian baker, minding your own business, all of a sudden one day, knocking your door comes from an LGBTQ, ABCDFG couple talking about bake this cake or we're going to sue you and we're going to embarrass you. I mean, that's not really right. You should be able to have religious freedom, do what you want. I do what I want, you do what you want, as long as you're not, bothering me on good money. Status, power, and authority. Wealth equals worth. Your job is who you are. Respect authority. Heavy value on ownership of goods, space, and property. I don't see much wrong with that. The first thing, wealth equals worth. I mean, what does that really mean? That's kind of nebulous. But everybody wants to have money. Everybody wants to be successful. That's not an American thing exclusively or a white thing exclusively. That's all over the world. Everybody wants to be able to have wealth. That's just what it is. Your job is who you are, not necessarily. Sometimes it can be. That can be part of your identity, but not all the time. And respecting authority, everybody should do that. I don't really see what's, like I said, these are just kind of basic things that most people want to abide by in general all throughout the world. Future orientation, plan for the future, delayed gratification, progress is always best, tomorrow will be better. I mean, that's pretty much on point. What's wrong? I mean, again, what's wrong with that? You should plan, set goals. That's just basic kind of common sense. Again, time, follow rigid time schedules. Time viewed as a commodity. Right on point. I got my watch, my digital watch. I want to be down to the minute, to the second. I want to be on time. I want to be punctual because I got to respect others' time. If I say I'm going to be here at 8 o'clock, I'm going to be there at 7:55. So you are not going to be inconvenienced. If I say 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I don't want it to be 8:30 to 9:30 because you may have other plans you got to adhere to. And time is most certainly money and you got to respect it. Nothing wrong with that at all. Aesthetics, based on European culture, steak and potatoes, bland is best. I'm not sure about that because you got all kind of different restaurants around. You got Filipino food, which I love, by the way, Asian food, and I see white folks all the time in there. So how is that necessarily white culture? That's kind of racist. It's kind of go back to this whole they don't season their food type thing. That's kind of a stereotype. Woman's beauty based on blonde, thin Barbie. I mean, a lot of white people do like that, but that's not necessarily the general beauty standard. Like, people are trying to say that the current beauty standard is blonde, thin Barbie to take it all the way to the other side and have some type of 800-pound transgender so-called woman. It's like, maybe I still like women at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? But You don't have to be looking like Pamela Anderson on Baywatch. And she wasn't even really a blonde, thin Barbie. She was kind of a big blonde. She was about 5'7", 5'8", kind of like, you know what I mean? She wasn't really like that. So this is just kind of, this right here is kind of like a hater type of thing going on. You know, you probably got a 400-pound mouth breather that wrote that. Man's attractiveness based on economic status, power, intellect. That ain't nothing new. That's all over the world. The man that got the most money, you know, who's powerful, people know who he is, smart. That's always, you know, and of course physical, but less about physical. You can see a guy looking like Shrek, who is powerful, intelligent. He'll have all the women. That's just basic stuff. That ain't nothing new. That's all throughout all races all over the world. Holidays based on Christian religions, based on white history and male leaders. So from this, I'm thinking that they want other holidays, maybe to honor some random woman that didn't do anything in history, or you know, some kind of obscure religion, the spaghetti head religion. Like, I mean, come on. Again, we're in America. Like, who founded it? Who started it? Let's just be real. Justice based on English common law, protect property entitlements, intent counts. Again, nothing wrong with that at all. Competition, be number one, win at all costs, win or loser dichotomy, action orientation, master and control nature. Let's pause for a minute. The number one, be number one, that right there may say that's not necessarily a good thing, because you should get a prize if you just participate. Participation trophies. So it don't matter if you come in dead last, you don't do anything to succeed, you get a prize regardless of what. That does not really push forward any kind of innovation. It doesn't give you any kind of motivation to do better. Why do better? I got a prize regardless. I didn't do anything and I still got money. I still got paid. I still got my prize. So wait, you know, I don't care about winning because I still won. You see what I'm saying? Must always, quote unquote, do something about a situation. Like, who wrote this? Like, it's like the girl that comes to you crying and you asking what's wrong. Don't worry about it. I just want to cry. I just want to talk to you. That kind of thing. Aggressiveness and extroversion, decision making, majority rules when whites have power. That's so silly. You know, it's not even really majority rules, because we believe in the electoral college. You see what I'm saying? So if it was majority rules all the time, then, you know, that wouldn't be there. Majority rules when it makes sense. It's not even a racial thing. Like, that's racist to even say. Communication, the King's English rules. Let's pause for a moment right there. You could speak slang or ebonics or broken English, and that's fine. But to communicate with everyone in the country, speak clear English, because not everyone understands you. Okay, I understand like some of the Georgia guys, but not everybody understands that. It's not even the race thing, because I know black guys in New York that cannot understand black guys in Atlanta. I understand both because I've been around both, but not everybody understands that. So speak in the way to where everyone understands you, so you're able to communicate effectively, because different dialects and whatnot are not understood by everyone. That's just kind of what it is. Written tradition, avoid conflict, intimacy, don't show emotion, don't discuss personal life, be polite. Again, nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing at all wrong with that. This whole thing, I feel like it's kind of hard to really just break it down. On one hand, they want to point out certain things that may be, you know, just part of white culture and not for everybody. Or if you see things like that, then you shouldn't want to adhere to it. But at the same time, they're giving you good information in here. These are things that you should want to abide by. Some of them, you know, the whole thing about when whites are in power, you know, it's kind of like attacking white people. But some things, if it's meant to attack, it does quite the opposite. It really informs. This is kind of a good list of qualities to have aside from the race-based thing. So hopefully I was able to break that down for you pretty well, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Was that list on point? Was it off point? How do you feel about basic general values in America and all over the country being seen as white culture and, you know, only for white people and things that you shouldn't have to adhere to? Or like, how do you feel about that? Are you first generation immigrant? been there for a long time. How do you feel about your culture that you adhere to being described as white culture, and then you as a non-white person possibly being kind of cast away to the side? How you feel about being white and then just giving this big pedestal upon what you got to stand on? You know, I don't look at anybody as inferior or superior. You're all the same to me, unless you're just a bad person. I judge on character, not skin color. It's funny that I say that because it was a guy back in the day that said the same thing about character and skin color. Ah, man, I forget it. Who knows who that is, right? Because if you say something like that, it means you're racist, right? So if you say something like that, it means you shouldn't have a statue of yourself anywhere or any kind of historic references about yourself, because you're not really a good person, because you should judge based upon your skin color, not character. According to what I'm reading right here, but I could be wrong. Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.